Right guys, Dan Hendriksen here at Torquay Golf Club. I think it's time for a little change. I've brought in my Titleist Cb 718 irons that I've been using now for the last 2 years, and I'm trying to look at possibly moving into maybe the 620 Cb iron, or even the one that I really like the look of this year, which is the MB iron. I'm also going to throw into the mix the T100. The old AP2 worked really well for me, so I thought, why not get some numbers from that one as well? Let's hit some balls, let's get some numbers and show you what my bag is going to look like for 2020. Right, for some consistency for this video, I'm going to use the Project X 6.0. Now I've been using this shaft probably back from like 2011 when I first put it into a set of calories that I was using. I wanted to get a sort of a lower, more penetrating flight, and at the time, obviously these were pretty new on the market at that point, and I felt like I could get a little bit more sort of feel and control out of this shaft than anything else. Now I've not moved away from this shaft for a number of years, so I'm going to try and keep that, and I want to try and keep some consistency throughout my bag and throughout my game. Feel is everything for me, and having the right shaft for that is going to help me. So for me to make a change from my current CB irons has been a big decision for me, because I've done so well with these clubs over the last sort of 2 years. They've brought me a lot of success when I've played in PGA events. I just feel completely comfortable with how these clubs perform for me. So to make this shift, it wasn't going to be a quick change for me. So I could have changed back in November last year, but I was so comfortable with what I was doing with these that I didn't really feel like I wanted to make that change. But probably like a lot of you, I like shiny things. Now I'm not necessarily looking for something to, let's say, improve on what I'm doing from these irons. I'm looking for some consistency, but the one set of irons that are really jumping out at me are the new MBs. Now I am just loving this look of iron this year. I've got to say, I was not expecting to want to move back to a blade, but for some reason I've had a few hits with this now in the studio, and it really does give me that kind of buttery feel that I really want to get. And if I can keep my strike performance up, I don't see why I can't move into this set of irons. Right, we'll get a few more numbers with this one, and then we'll hit some more with the other clubs that I've got to test, and then we'll look at the numbers. Okay, numbers time. So this is my own CB to get us going with. So you can see here ball speed 118 mile an hour. I launch it at about 20.5 degrees, and my spin number's at 6.961 as an average. Peaking out at 36 yards high, and an average carry of 161. That is absolutely where I would sort of number myself on the golf course. Now, the first club that I tested out in comparison to that was the next generation CB, the one that you would expect me to sort of progress into. So if you compare now 118 ball speed compared to what I'm currently getting there, so very similar, launching it exactly the same, 20.5 degrees in launch. Now remember, this is a 7 iron, both at 35 degrees in loft. And spin there, you can see there's really nothing in it, within 30 revs of each other for 6 or 7 shots that I've hit with each club. And then just peaking out maybe a yard higher on an average, but if you look best to best, we've got, well, or highest to highest, we've got 39 yards high compared to 38 yards high, so really there's nothing in it from that point of view. And then 162 carry, so nothing in it. The CB, the process for me of moving from my own CB into the new CB would be seamless, really, as far as I can see from those numbers. If we go into the MB, now remember, this is the club that I love the look of. It's slightly smaller in its profile from when I look down at the club. It's softer. It feels almost like a little bit more buttery to me, which is why I'm kind of looking at this club and thinking, if I can get the numbers with it, I want to play it. So if we look at the ball speed, so ball speed 118.9, so again, absolutely spot on with what I'm getting out of this compared to my own. Launch is just a fraction lower, so I'm launching it maybe a degree lower than what I'm launching the current CB. And you can see there the spin just pops up, so it's just a fraction higher in its spin, maybe 1 to 200 revs more in the spin, and then peaking out slightly lower, but again look, 162 carry, so exactly the same. So I'm getting a slightly more penetrating flight with this MB iron. And then if we go to the T100, now I wanted to test the T100 because it looks very, very similar to the other irons. So this is what I love about the new line of this year, should we say, is how you go T100, MB or CB, and they look very much the same looking down at the clubs. So ball speed there, 120 off the face, so just a little bit hotter than what I'm getting from there. Launching there at 19.8, so very, very similar from that point. And then my spin down at like 6.6. Now I ideally want to be spinning my 7-iron at around 7,000, between 6,500 and 7,000 revs. If I go up to sort of 7,500, that's a little bit high. So this one here again is good. The numbers are right in the market there of where I want to be. But you can see there I've got a couple here at sort of 6.4s, which is a little bit low, but it's not overly low from what we're getting from that. So a good number from there. It's 37 yards high and average carry 166. Now the T100 is a degree stronger in its loft, so I'm expecting to see that ball go out there just a fraction further. You know, we're talking 3 or 4 yards longer based on what the ball speed is giving me. So quite an exciting test for me there. You could see from the numbers that, like I said before, I wasn't necessarily looking for something to maybe help my game, let's say, because I feel very comfortable with what the game I get with my CBs. But if I could find something in this range that was going to keep it maybe more consistent to what I'm currently using, then I would be very happy with that. Now you could see from the numbers that there was really not a lot in it. Maybe the T100 was getting me out there just that little bit further. But let's think about that. My spin levels with that one were at its lowest. So if I'm spinning it around 6,500 revs, that's kind of as low as I want to be doing inside. Remember, the golf course is only ever going to take spin away from me. So if I'm spinning it in here at its lowest point, if I get in a wet condition or a little bit of sort of semi-rough, things like that, I'm going to start to get low spin balls coming out of those situations. So that's what would concern me about using the T100, even though the numbers there from in here show that I could play that club. For me, I came in here today wanting the MB to perform and wanting to possibly put these into my bag. The only reason I wouldn't put them in my bag is if they would actually hinder my performance. So if they were not performing as well as what the CB, the old CB, was performing for me. But you could see there that I don't feel like I'm losing anything by putting these MBs in the bag. So with that said, it has to be the MB. I love the look of this iron. It's slightly smaller in its profile compared to what the new CB offer, and certainly compared to my old CB. And it's just got that slightly softer, buttery feel that I feel from when I hit it or get it right out the middle. So for me, this year, it's going to be the MB. Now I'm going to do another video following on from this because I need to have a little look at what's going to happen at the top end of my bag. So, you know, how high do I go with this MB? Do I go into a 5-iron and a 4-iron, or do I think the 4-iron I might need a little bit more help to blend in with what else I've got in the bag? So let's see what happens when I do that video. So let me know, put your comments down below. What do you think I should be putting in the bag? And also, have you been through some similar testings to this year? If you're looking at maybe some new irons for this year, have you done something similar to what I've been doing? I'd like to hear what you have to say. Remember, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, all the notifications will come through to you, and keep putting in those questions down there. The more questions you have, the more videos we can make. I look forward to catching up with you again soon.